Good morning, Boker Tov. 10 minutes of meeting is sponsored generously, anonymously. Zecher Nishmas Alter Shlomo Ben Pinchas. Please help yourself to coffee and donuts. We are Mesillas Yesharim, the 22nd chapter. We've been learning about the Midah of Anava, the Midah of humility. Deep into the Sefer. Only once we've built on the building blocks of the qualities and character traits and growth that come before, we arrive at the Midah of humility. What a sign and signal how difficult it is to truly and authentically live a humble life. We spoke about humility in thought, in our attitude, in our self-perception, in our self-awareness. We talked about humility in practice, in our posture, in the way we carry ourselves, in the way we walk, in the way we speak, in the way we engage others. Sinas harabanos, we are up to hating the rabbinate. Where do I sign up? Sinas harabanos to brichas hakavod, Mishnah aruchahi. The Mishnah in Avos, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos, the first chapter, reminds us, Ehaves hamalacha, love work. Work is not a concession. Love work. Love the toil. Love the effort. Love the work. Usna es rabbanus, and hate, be averse to rabbanus. Does rabbanus mean the rabbinate? Hate rabbis. Hate rabbis. Hate your educators. Hate your teachers. Is that what it means? For some, they're machmir on this halacha, but that's not what the Mishnah means. The Mishnah, when it says be averse to rabbanus, it doesn't mean rabbis per se. It means the positions of authority. Person should have an aversion to positions of authority. It means that it's a concession. Someone needs to get up and give the drasha. Someone needs to paskin the halacha. Someone needs to officiate the life cycle events. Someone needs to give an excuse for the coffee and donuts to give a short shiur. So someone has to make the concession to speak. But really, we should be averse. Really, Hashem himself, God is described as a kel mistater. God is secret. He's hidden. He's humble. And we too should just want to blend in, do our thing, contribute in our quiet way. We should not seek positions of authority. We should not seek to be responsible. V'amru od, and furthermore it says, Hagas libo ba'ara shota rasha v'gas ruach. The Mishnah there in Avos also tells us, one whose heart swells when making halachic decisions is a wicked and arrogant fool, because others rely on you, because you're in a position of authority. It's not only true in the rabbinate. You could be the president, vice president, treasurer. You could be the chair or the co-chair. You could be the initiator or the head of a project, of an institution, of a communal organization. Just because you have been given and granted and blessed, and because you bear the awesome responsibility of leadership, don't ever let that go to your head. It's not a source of honor. It is a privilege and a responsibility. V'amru, the Gemara in Eruvin tells us, Kavod boreach mimenu. It's fascinating. One who pursues and chases honor, honor runs away from you. It's interesting because you would have thought Chazal, our rabbis, say there's no such thing as honor. Honor is empty and frivolous. Honor is futile. Honor is silly. They wouldn't even recognize or acknowledge there's such a thing as honor to pursue. But they recognize there's honor. The human psyche has this instinct, and it wants recognition. It wants honor. It wants glory. It wants a name. It wants influence. Maybe we've never lived in a time more. Just a sign or symbol of our generation. We have an entire name. Some people have a career choice. You go to the career counselor. What do you want to be? A doctor, a lawyer, an accountant? Chas v'sholom chinuch. What do you want to be? So some people now will say, I want to be an influencer. What's an influencer? I want to be an influencer. I want a huge following online. I want companies to send me free things to wear them or talk about them or drink them or eat them or feature them. I want to be an influencer. Whoever had such a career choice? I want honor. I want the most followers. I want the most name recognition. I want the most fame. I want the biggest fortune. I want the biggest influence. That's not the Jewish way of having influence. You have influence not when you run after honor, but when you want to run away from it. When you run away from it. R Moshe Feinstein Zatzal was asked once by the New York Times, you're the Posek Hador, where they learn that language, but you are the halachic authority decisive of the generation. Where do you go to school for that? Where do you sign up for that? Where do you get that title? And R Moshe says, I never asked for it, I never wanted it, I never signed up for it. People in the neighborhood started asking me questions. You could look this up online. This was an interview at the New York Times. People asked me questions, and I guess they liked the answers I gave. So people beyond the neighborhood started asking questions. And then more and more asked questions. I'm just there to help people and answer their questions. I never signed up for a title. I never signed up for any authority. The Jewish way is to run away from honor, not to pursue it. When you pursue it, the Torah says it runs away from you. Why? Because it is wholly, WH, unhonorable to run after honor. Meaning the moment that you are declaring, I want to be an influencer, your influence is diminished. And the moment you say, I don't seek influence, I just want to make a difference, I just want to inspire, I just want to help, I just want to support, it's not about me, the brand is Hashem, the brand is His Torah, is the moment that you could be of influence. When you seek honor, you're acting in a dishonorable way. When you run away from honor, that in fact is deemed honorable. And furthermore, it says, do not be quick to enter into controversy. Don't run after a fight. Your version of how to love Israel and how you measure it and did you qualify for it and who loves Israel the most and how do you demonstrate it. Don't enter the machlokas, the fray. Put your head down, do your thing, do what you think is right. And that's beautiful. Encourage, celebrate, thank Hashem for the miracles and the gifts and the generation in which we're living. On any topic, on any policy discussion, did we not see the friends and family that are no longer even speaking because of the fights that took place? You know, at the Shiva last week, Rabbi Leo D., there were people who came to visit him who were friends of his and friends online and friends on Facebook who in the heart of the controversy over Corona and the policies and the shutdowns stopped speaking to each other. And they went 2.5 years, 3 years, they didn't speak to each other. And when a person's wife and 2 children get murdered, all of a sudden things are put in perspective. These friends whom they had stopped speaking with each other came to pay a Shiva call. You could see this video, it was recorded as was everything at the Shiva. And he says to them, and he says to everyone in the world, and he's saying to us, he said, when you imagine not talking to someone over something, did they say bracha, no bracha? Did they celebrate properly, not properly, acknowledge they this way, that way, the other way? Did they shave, they didn't shave? When you think you're not going to talk to someone, the lockdown, they didn't have the lockdown, they ate brisket, they stayed 6 feet away, they stayed 6 inches too close. When you thought, I'm going to stop talking to someone over it. This is what Rabbi Leo Diaz said. Now picture, if their wife and 2 children were murdered by terrorists, would you pay a Shiva call? And if the answer is yes, then don't wait. Don't stop talking. Figure out a way, keep talking. If it wasn't important enough to keep you from paying a Shiva call in a tragedy, then don't wait for the tragedy. Find a way to keep talking even right now. Al teitze lariv maher. Don't think that your daya, your attitude, your approach, your policy, your conclusion is the one and only way. Life and the world are complicated and they're nuanced. And keep your head down and do your thing and advocate and fight for what you believe in and for just and just causes, but not in a way that's going to divide and separate. We need less of that in that world. We need a lot more of humble unity. Don't look for authority. Don't look for the one who has to make the decisions. Don't look for positions of influence. Lama pen mata seba acharis lamachar ba mishalom lachashelos mata mashiva mocham Rabbi Menachem Mishem Rabbi Tanchum kol makal of surara kedei lahanos mimena eina ela kenoe fazeh shunena migufa shel isha. Very interesting comment of our rabbis of Chazal. Anyone who accepts a position of authority for his own benefit is no different than an adulterer who derives pleasure from the body of a woman whom he shouldn't be with. You could give a lot of mussar shmuzas about authority. Not sure I would have come to that metaphor, parallel, or that comparison. So what's the comparison? What is the connection? So I saw Rav Dan Segel, the Mashgiach, in his commentary, Mesillas Yesharim, he says, you know what the comparison is, what Chazal mean, what the Mesillas Yesharim is quoting? He says, when a person's married, what's the marriage called? Under the chuppah is Kedushin. Kedushin, this week's parsha, Kedoshim T, was Kedusha. Kedusha, holiness is when you elevate something, when you give it a sacred purpose, when you have a pledge of faithfulness to it, to elevate, to lift it, to make it something significant. When you violate, when you desecrate that faithfulness, when instead of elevating it, you diminish it and you lower it, you make it unholy. You violated its sanctity. Similarly, a person who pursues a position of authority, kidei leihanos mimenu. So someone says, will you be the chair? Will you be the honoree at the dinner? Will you serve as the president? Will you be the rabbi? And you say, yeah, my ego, my name, I get to make announcements, I get to give the drasha, I get to be on a video, I get to be featured. And yeah, for me, for my pleasure, you took something which is kadosh. Srara's kadosh. Having authority, having responsibility, serving others in a community is a position of kedusha. It's sacred. It's holy. But the moment you introduce to it your personal benefit, your ego, your self-interest in it, now you made it kidei lahanas mimenu, just like a marriage which is violated, just like a marriage which holiness is profaned, so too the holiness of authority, the holiness of helping and changing the world is profaned the moment lehanos mimenu, the moment you do it in a way to derive personal benefit from it. We have to serve. I know I just made it much harder to find honorees at the dinner. I know it made it harder to find anyone to volunteer to be a chair of a committee, but that's not his point. His point is work hard on behalf of the Jewish people. Work hard and accept to be honored because others will follow and grow in your way. Work hard, but don't do it kedei lehanos mimenu. Do it reluctantly, with hesitation. Do it with humility, that the brand is not you. You are a mouthpiece and an instrument, a vehicle of Hashem to make the world a better place. Enjoy the coffee and donuts. Chag Sameach to all. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay holy.